Yo, we are back. Let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building, man. You guys know what time it is. Welcome to the latest installment of the Graphk Wasted Show. Or the Wasted and Graphk Show, however you want to slice it. Our brother will be here shortly. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. As always, make sure you guys wipe them feet, pay your bar tabs, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are not subscribed yet, our brother Wasted just got fresh off work. He'll be here shortly, so stay tuned. A lot to talk about today. Voluntary OTAs. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about 10 scenarios that we're looking at training camp. 10 storylines that we're looking very closely at as OTAs get underway. But real quick, man, let me salute the chat. Salute to the Green Dot Gang in the building, man. James Williams, my guy. Salute to Martin. 2 4s in the building. CGR, 2 of the Mob Fathers themselves. Salute to Roy Hodges. Yo, what's cracking, Graphk? Salute to my guy here in the building. As always, appreciate you guys so much. Salute to 2-4 with the first super of the day. What the F is going on in here? Wasted Cyrus Talent. Hey, man, you got to wait for him to pull up so you can ask him. And look, you summoned that man immediately.
Yes. Can you dig it?
So now we can do this properly, you guys. Welcome to the latest installment of the Graphk Wasted Show.
Or the Wasted Graphk Show, whichever way you like to slice it. Bro, yo, I log on, and then I'm trying to, like, I hit do the update for the computer later.
Yeah.
Then my computer just starts doing all of this crazy shit. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So we got a show in 3 minutes, man.
Is your mic connected?
We up and running now, man.
Is your mic connected?
Let me see. Hold on.
It sounds
Hold the phone, my man. Hold the phone.
It sounds very MacBookish.
Yes. You know what's crazy, man? It is very MacBook. How do I sound now?
We are here.
Let's hear you.
Today, you guys, once again, voluntary OTAs underway out in Las Vegas. Our veterans get an opportunity to, get out there and get some shit moving with the rooks. Yeah. You know what I mean? This coaching staff finally gets a chance to see what this team looks like. I know you're excited, brother. How you feeling about these voluntary workouts underway?
Man, I'm excited because I want to really see how Pete Carroll and John Spytek have really done, right? Like, you know me, I've been the skeptic. I'm not a skeptic because I believe in these guys.
Wasted.
No. Look. What I'm trying, seriously, man, what I'm trying not to do is like I do every freaking year. The gout walk real quick. Yo, Bodega Wasted, you're about to get unceremoniously blocked. You bum. The F are you talking about?
Yo.
But no. In all seriousness, I really need to see how this all looks in real time, man. Because look, man, does it sound good? You damn right it sounds good.
Yeah.
Does it look good? Does it look better than we've seen it look over years and years and years? Yes. But I want to see how they brought this program together. I watched that interview with Pete Carroll, and I have a whole lot. I have a newfound respect for Pete Carroll. Like, I always respected him, but I have even more respect for the way he gets down. And I love his mental with the way that he decided to put this whole program together. I love it. So I can't wait to see it.
Definitely. Real quick, man. Once again, salute to everybody here in the building. Make sure you guys wipe them feet, pay your bar tabs, hit that subscribe button. Wasted is well on his way to what? Is it 15 now? We're about to hit the 15 mark?
15, my brother. Hey, Graphk, let me ask you a quick question. Do you hear the air raid? Do you hear it here?
No. What you mean?
Do you hear that?
I heard that. It sound like a mini fart.
No. Do you hear this? Hold on.
Very, very minimal.
Sucks.
My boy's struggling with the noise machine.
I'm struggling here. What the F is going on here?
I'm trying to figure this out, you guys. So Wasted has some stuff going on with his computer, right? I get here early, coffee, ready to go in the middle of a tornado. In the middle of a tornado, Wasted. Day 2, tornado watch. We are under surveillance, tornado surveillance right now until 10 p.m. tonight. And our guy is over there worried about some drums that are faintly being. It's just nasty work out here in these streets. It's disgusting.
Man, listen, bro.
Disgusting.
You know, there's a tsunami of technical difficulty here I'm dealing with here. You're dealing with a tornado. I'm dealing with a tsunami of technical difficulties here.
Yo,
crazy.
I love it. Before we get to these 10 storylines, you guys, let's talk about what is going on right now around our Raiders. I don't know if you've seen this, Wasted. I'm assuming you were going to talk about this on your solo show before we decided to connect the dots here today. But former first-round pick, a bust at that, who played in only 13 games before he was released, drafted in 2020, a guy that plays for the UFL right now for the Houston Roughnecks, Damon High Stakes Arnett. He's trying to get back into the league right now. He is out there pleading his case. This is what he had to say. It's easy for me to stay in the moment because I had to work so hard to get here. Just being able to play football again on any level is the best opportunity and best gift that God could have rewarded me with. With all the right decisions that I feel like I've been making, I didn't want anything but a Gatorade squirt bottle and a helmet. When I talked to Coach CJ, I know, nasty word. He said that I can finally come back. I was like, man, I just want a Gatorade bottle. I haven't used a Gatorade squirt bottle in a long time. Arnett said, it's just the little things about the game you miss the most that you take for granted. So it's easy for me to stay in the moment. That's all I'm thinking about right now is the game, and then the game after that, and then the game after that. I want to win this whole thing for Coach CJ because I just feel like I'm a part of this family right now, and this is the only thing that matters to me. Then he goes on to say, right now I'm seeing what I anticipated when I knew I was going to be a part of the team. He's a former first-round pick. This is coming from his coach. Undeniably talented athlete, so on and so forth. But then he goes on to say, where's the actual quote? Pretty much he's stating that he is ready to get back into the NFL. Oh, yeah. Okay, I believe Damon Arnett is what? Is he 28 years old now? He's a little up. He's up there now, right? He's 28. He'll be 29 September 2nd. I'm not here to be a negative Nancy. I would love to see this success story. I would love to see this guy come back into the league and find a way to be productive. But I got to keep it a buck here, man. You're going to be 29 when this season starts. I think the writing is on the wall here. I think it's pretty much a wrap. How do you feel about Damon Arnett pleading his case to get back into the league right now, playing in the UFL?
Look, man, I think that Damon Arnett is one of the things that annoy me the most about this world of social media. And if I have a time to gather around the fire, everyone gather around the fire, because the old man Wasted is about to go off a little bit, because this is a guy who was overdrafted. He was overdrafted. He was blessed and lucky to be taken in the first round. That's number one. Right now, he was talented. He probably was worthy to get drafted. He's an Ohio State guy, started at Ohio State Buckeyes. That normally gets you in the National Football League. But Damon Arnett was on a lot of people's board, was no higher than a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
He got $1 million dropped into his lap, and this guy decides to go on social media and act like he's freaking Rambo. He pissed away his career, and now the bullshit catching up. Lines ain't matching up. Ready to start snitching, ain't you? That boy want to be a choir boy now. Yeah. See, it get real ugly out here when you talk greasy online,
there's more than that though, Wasted. We're kind of going over the stealing the phone of the female. There was a lot of drug stuff that was happening. I believe locally here in the Dallas area as well.
Talking greasy, talking slick, pointing firearms to the camera. Now, the refrigerator is getting a little empty. The cupboards are getting bare. Your stomach is touching your rib cage. And now you want to be a quiet boy. Well, guess what, Damon Arnett? There's hundreds and hundreds of young men who have paid the price that are a lot younger than you, that are probably better than you. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? You effed up and you don't deserve a spot in the National Football League. Because guess what? Even though your God-given ability is something that everyone can't do, it is not your right to play in the NFL. It is a privilege to be able to make that kind of money and to change the trajectory of your family. Now, you know what, man? I'm sick of these guys going on here trying to act like they something that they not. And then when you get burnt, now you want to come on the screen and, oh, if I could just get another, sir, yes, sir. Get the F up out of here. Stop being a bum.
Let me
get
say
your
this.
ass in there and F John Gruden and Mike Mayock for drafting this effing bum.
I gotta say this, man. I'm rooting for Damon.
I'm not rooting for him. F him.
I know everything. I know he went through his bumps and bruises. I know he's a first round bust of our beloved Raiders. He was never supposed to be drafted there in the first place. I think being a first round pick, comes with a different.
For Justin Jefferson.
I know, but
Jalen Hurts, get the F up out of here.
A different type of pressure comes with being a first round draft pick. That kind of money. He wasn't ready for it. He wasn't prepared for it. It just sucks that now he's about to be 29 years old and he's trying to, revamp his career and so on and so forth, where it may be too late. But once again, man, I don't want anything to do with Damon Arnett in Las Vegas, but I will say this. I'm rooting for the kid, and hopefully he finds a way to take the UFL by storm, find a job elsewhere in the NFL and revamp his career. Salute to 2-4. Wasted, you forgot to say, pull my finger. I heard it. 2-4. Wasted always talking about, I be farting over here, picking my nose and shit. Hey, I heard it.
Graphk, I was thinking booty little boy. Now you know that. No.
Salute to Raider Deb 75. Salute Nation. Graphk Wasted. Appreciate y'all. Looking forward to the season. Kind of worried about the Wilkins situation. Besh is going to be a beast. We're going to talk about that, Deb. Salute to you, sis. Appreciate you on a $5 special. It's always good to see Deb it's always good to see our Raiderettes in the building. Always. Salute to the sis. Deb, appreciate you on the 5, and salute to James as well. Damon Arnett was drafted before Justin Jefferson and Jalen Hurts. Lord, help us all. Nasty, disgusting, terrible, incriminating work by Damon Arnett. Nasty, filthy. All right, let's give some flowers real quick one more time before we get to these 10 storylines. I want to say salute to our former nose tackle, John Jenkins, 35 years old, found another job in the NFL. I thought he was going to retire, went and got a deal with the Baltimore Ravens. Him, with that roster around him, I'm expecting him to have a really good year out there. They went and revamped that defense in the draft. They're usually known as a defensive force. They struggled last season, injuries and all that other stuff. I love to see one of our own land in a situation like Baltimore, where this is the place where he's probably going to end his career, maybe a year or two. 37, I think he'd be on the way out. I think this is a great place for John Jenkins to land. Salute to him. Once a Raider, always a Raider. I think that's a phenomenal place for him. Any words with John Jenkins?
Man, I mean, look, John Jenkins is a guy that he overperformed when he was here with us.
Yeah,
he was a guy that we thought when they first brought him in that he was going to be a camp body.
17-game starter. Last season.
And man, the whole time he was here, he played admirably. He deserves everything and all the good fortune that he can get. It just sucks that he's in our conference. But man, the Ravens just every year in and year out, they just keep revamping that defense and making the right moves.
Yeah.
And for him, I would like to see the best for John Jenkins. He played great for the Raiders, and especially in some very lean years where we weren't playing so well. He was one of the only guys out there showing up and showing out for us. So I have a lot of love and respect for John Jenkins, man.
No, this is definitely facts. Salute to John Forte. Father Wasted, preaching the Bible. I agree with you 100. Salute to our guy, John Forte. And that's a hilarious default picture as well. Also, there was another article that dropped today where I believe it was Matt Holder on Bleacher Report did a best kept secret on each team in the NFL. I don't know if you got an opportunity to check this out. I kind of wanted to talk about this for a split second. I want to ask you before I give his take on who our best kept secret is. in your eyes, who is the best kept secret on this football team?
For the rest of the league or just period? I mean, for the rest of the league, the best kept secret is Jakobi Meyers. You know, he is a guy who was a top, I would say top 12 guy in this position. Nah, it's a little high, but I think he's the guy that a lot of people in the league don't realize just how good Jakobi Meyers is. He's a guy that didn't drop a pass all year last year.
Yeah.
You know, he played inside, he played outside. He's a guy that will probably never come up on anyone's lips when they start talking about, you know, and pause if necessary, when you start talking about wide receiver talent, because that's one thing that there is not a lack of in the National Football League is wide receiver talent, right?
Yeah.
Jakobi Meyers is definitely, as you would say, one of the ones, right?
But
from a Raider perspective, because we know our team, we're dependent and we're going to swing big on Jakobi Meyers. But when you start talking about best kept secrets, man, I think, really, to be real with you, bro, I think it and I hope I'm right, man, but I think it is Isaiah Palmel. I think
you're wrong. You're wrong.
I think he is going to have a breakout season, bro.
Well, let me say this: you're not wrong. I'm just talking about the situation. This name that this specific person chose. You're wrong in terms of it's not Isaiah Palmel. So,
no, I'm talking about for me.
Okay.
F. Okay. Talk. Listen. F every single one of them. This is the Graphk Wasted Show, the Wasted and Graphk Show. We don't give a damn about his effing opinion.
I'll say this: it is Malcolm Kuntz. I think we can all agree, man.
Oh my God, that's putting skin thin. If you know football, he is not the best kept secret.
Putting skin thin. This is what they had to say.
Talking about.
Salute to Heavy.com. He was a breakout player in 2023, had a career high 8 sacks that season. This is what Matt Holder had to say on the Bleacher Report app. A torn ACL just before the season robbed Kuntz of building on his impressive 2023 performance. He finished the campaign with 8 sacks in the Raiders' final 9 games while also showing growth as a run defender. That was always the gripe with Malcolm Kuntz coming out of Buffalo was, defending the run. As a run defender with an above average at 66.3 PFF run defensive grade. Now that the 2021 third round pick is healthy and playing for a long-term contract, he's in for a big year as a compliment to Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. I have to agree. I think you hit the nail on the head, though. First and foremost is Jakobi Meyers. He's just been a Swiss Army knife for us. He's been healthy, durable. He's been our best wide receiver these last few seasons, coming off of his first 1,000-yard receiving year. He is that veteran in that room now, and he's definitely in the running for a new deal on the way here very, very soon. But I probably agree with you. But I think if Malcolm Kuntz can prove that he's healthy this year and he can build on that 2023 team, I think this is 1A, 1B with Jakobi and Malcolm Kuntz. I know maybe I'm just talking because I'm a Malcolm Kuntz guy. Everybody knows I was high on him out of Buffalo, and I wanted him to be a Raider so bad. And now he's here, 1 year, prove it deal. I'm expecting greatness from him this year. And I don't know if you got an opportunity to watch him on the Rush. He was talking to Max. I'm excited to see what this kid can do with Graham and Pete Carroll in the fold now on the defense side.
Man, I am too, man. I think that, just by virtue of the fact that his financial life is on the line.
Yeah.
Professional life is on the line from a player perspective. And all of those things are happening in a year where you have a Pete Carroll coming into the building who has been a defensive aficionado for well over 20 years on all levels of football.
Yeah.
And also you have a guy in Patrick Graham who really is on the clock here.
Yeah.
This guy's on the clock.
Because you have a guy on the defensive line right now that's and pause if necessary, breathing down his back. That's Rob Leonard.
Yes. Listen, and if I'm being honest, I thought that they would have moved on from Patrick Graham. I didn't think that Pete Carroll would have come into the building.
Remember, he turned down that Jacksonville job to return to Las Vegas. So, but it's going to be – I think that you're on to something with this may be a make or break season, especially with Pete Carroll in the fold, who was a phenomenal defensive mind already. You know what I mean? So I can see Rob Leonard potentially taking over that Graham job if we shit the bed on the defensive side of the football this year. Salute to LA Crash Dog. Thanks for that content. Salute to my guy, LA Crash Dog, always supporting what we do. Salute to Mike Downs. As far as I'm concerned, the Ravens are underachievers. They are. They always have talent, but can never get over the hump of the hill. Salute to my guy, Mike Downs. I mean, I've watched them win 2 Super Bowls. So, I've never watched my team win one. Yeah, so Mike, I understand what you're saying in the Lamar Jackson era, where they're getting closer and closer and they just can't pull it off. But we have the luxury of, and you too, Downs. You're an OG. You watched this team win several Super Bowls. They beat the Niners in the Blackout Bowl when the lights got cut off, and then we watched the year where they beat us in the AFC Championship and went on to win a championship as well. So I hear you, but I don't. Salute to my guy Mike Downs on a $5 salute to back end Blizzy. My God.
Oh no. Oh, yo, block this guy. Block him right now. What the F are you talking about?
Hey, man. Hey,
Blizzy, get him the F up out of here.
Hey, Blizzy might be asking for the back end. Maybe when he gets signed.
Get him the F up out of here.
Look, if Blizzy signs the deal, he says there's no back end. I want it all up front. Get
him the F up out of here.
Look, the back end, Blizzy. Much love to both of y'all. I think Jack will get 1,000 yards this season. Talk. His brother dying has a battery in his back. Raider Nation for life. And Blizz, this is the thing right now. There's so much hype around Jack Bech already. There's several so-called, analysis out there and so on and so forth that are saying that this guy is already the best wide receiver that we have on this roster. I guess they haven't watched Jacoby Myers, but and that he looked really good out there at rookie minicamp. I can attest to that. I've talked to numerous people that were out there that told me the same, that he absolutely separated himself from the pack at the wide receiver position. So I'm excited to see Jack Bech. 1,000's kind of when you got Brock Bowers out there, you got Jacoby, and you got Thornton, you have touchdown Tommy. I'll say this: I'm expecting in year one that 700 to 800 range. Those typical Jacoby numbers. That's what I expect from Jack Bech in year one. Go ahead, Wasted. Be the wet blanket you are, and combat.
No, don't try to put the wet blanket thing on me. That's normally you. Get the F up out of here.
Back in Blizzy.
See, here you go with this crap.
Go ahead.
You are empowering the weirdness right now. What the F is wrong with you, Graphk? I am shocked and appalled.
Go ahead and shit on my argument. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. Look, listen, I have to support you, right? 700 yards. Yeah, right. But the thing is that they have to figure out, to be real with you, how many wide receivers, like who are the guys that are going to be on the other side of Jacoby Myers, right? Because
it's Bech.
Like the thing is, they kind of do two similar things, right? So who's going to get all of that? Like, when you talk about Bech, man, to me, when we drafted Jack Bech, look, it's good because of his story. Mm-hmm. And if I'm being honest, I feel like, he was the pick that I most was disappointed in when they took him, because
I got to hear this shit.
Luther Burden was still on the board. There were a lot of guys on the board at in the second round. Like, I like Jack.
No. Burden was not on the board when we took Bech. We traded back twice.
We traded back. Okay. All right. Because I was in ATL. I got to remember. But the thing is, we had a chance before we traded back to take a guy like a Luther Burden, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the thing, right? Like,
they got a guy that fits the culture. Wasted once again. Remember the Luther Burden diva talks.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I get why he was taken. I'm talking about initially, when I'm thinking about who was on my big board, Burden was ahead of Bech on my big board.
I got it now. It all makes sense. What? You know why you were so disappointed that we took Jack Bech?
I wasn't disappointed.
You just said it. You said that was the biggest disappointment you had in the draft.
No, but I loved our entire draft. That was the one thing I can find fault with. You
know why you found that fault? It all makes sense.
Why? Because we didn't take Shador?
Because I had us drafting him. I was right about Jack Bech.
Why is everything
total sense? The hatred is real.
Get the F up out of here. Get the F up out of here, bro. You know what it is, yo? You think everything is about you. Listen, let me tell you guys something. Let me give you guys a little glimpse behind the scenes into Diva Graphk. I mean, this guy walks around like Liberace. It's a diva. Nobody was thinking about you. Not even a little bit. The F up out of here, bro.
Had Genty right, had Bech right.
Bro, listen, the whole world had us taking Genty. Get the F up out of here, man. Now all of a sudden you trying to act like you're some clairvoyant.
What you gonna do about it?
but in all seriousness, when we look at our big board, right, and we're like, okay, you're gonna get a wide receiver. Yeah. You had Luther Burden ahead of Jack Bech.
I did. I do.
All right, so come on, let's just be for real.
But I understand the fit because once again,
but I get it. I get it. He's a hardworking guy.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I look at Besh and I look at Jacoby Myers, they're like essentially the same receiver.
Archetype, kind of.
They're the same guy. They're underneath guys. They're not really that X guy, right? They're not really that X guy. Now, this is the thing.
They play a ton on the boundary.
The way I see it working is having a Trey Tucker in the slot to kind of take, because you need that one guy to take the top off of the defense, right?
Okay.
Besh is not that guy from a speed perspective, neither is Jacoby Myers. No. You need that guy. But you already have Brock Bowers and stuff, so you got Dante Thornton Jr. He's a rookie, so I'm not really depending on him so much. But yo, Tucker.
Or you just have Besh start in the slot and you have Tucker on the boundary with Jacoby, and you still have the speed element out there.
I mean, listen, whether he's in the slot, whether he's in the boundary, you know, he can run a 9 route from the slot. It's not like he can't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like as long as you have that guy on the roster, I think you can start Jack Besh and Jacoby Myers, as long as you have a guy that can take the top off of the defense. But look, man, getting back to the whole point of what we're saying, listen, Jack Besh, man, is a guy that I think fits the Raiders based off of the first pick that we took when you start talking about Genty, because he's a guy that's going to get out there and get active in a blocking game.
Yeah.
He's a guy with this blocking scheme.
Yep.
You need blocking downfield. He will provide that. Jack Besh for the Raiders is like, to me, man, now looking back at it and look at how they constructed this roster, looking at it from a bird's eye view.
They have a plan.
They have a plan, bro. And you can see it coming together in real time. Like even the only thing that I can say, because we haven't really talked about this week, because you did your draft show, I did mine afterwards. It's just now that the things I'm hearing about Shedeur Sanders, I'm a little upset that Pete was so loyal to Geno in a way where he didn't just go get our quarterback of the future.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that because I want to talk about, we talked about it on the phone. He signed a 4-year deal. Salute to Shedeur. We'll talk about that because I know I want to hear I want the nation to hear your take on this. Definitely. But real quick, I have to say this. They had a plan because they knew I had us taking Jack Besh in the 3rd round. And essentially that's what they did, right? They moved back twice and got him because they knew he'd be available there. And I think that they didn't want to pass on him there. They said, okay, let's get him now while we can. We picked up some additional draft capital. Let's take our favorite wide receiver. I don't think that Luther Burden was ever a guy that they were looking at. I think that they have a plan of what kind of offense they want to run. It's going to be a very physical offense. And just like you said yourself, Besh can block with the best of them. So once again, he fits the mold of what we are trying to do. And we're going to talk about Besh a little bit more with these 10 storylines. Salute to J-Ro. I believe gone are the days of this team coming out on Sundays and looking totally unprepared. Bro, this is what I'm most excited about. I think Wasted agrees with can agree with your sentiment as well, that with Pete in the fold, with Tom and Spy Tech, these guys are going to be competitive. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be some games where we just get outclassed. It happens. I seen Pete Carroll get cooked. I seen the Niners beat the dog shit out of them this last playoff appearance with Geno Smith. You know what I mean? So it can happen, but I definitely agree with you. I think they're going to be very prepared. The game management's going to be a lot better with a veteran like Pete Carroll that knows this game like the back of his hand, so to speak. I'm excited. Salute to my guy, J-Ro. Salute to the 900 people in the building as well. If you guys are not subscribed yet to both channels, hit that subscribe button on both sides. Wipe them feet. Make sure you pay your bar tab. Salute to 10 Commandments. You see Mumford and Parham having a significant role in this year's team. I think, okay. I'm going to hand this shit to Brother Wasted. Go ahead.
No, like it's one or the other. They took 2 linemen. Those kids, you can pencil those guys in, right? Colt Miller, boilerplate. DJ Glaze, boilerplate. Jordan Meredith played better than both of them last year.
Yeah.
I think Mumford has a hard time making his roster.
I can agree with you. I think that they're going to like him because of the versatility. You know what I mean? Once again, a guy that can play both tackle spots, can play the guard spot. I think that he makes this roster, but I don't think that he's going to be a guy that's going to get a ton of reps. Now, with Parham, on the other hand, I think that he does fit this system a lot more with Brendan Carroll running the offensive line, with Chip Kelly's system. I think that he fits this system way more than what we previously ran. I do believe that he'll be a part of this team. I don't think he's going to be cut, but it's going to be still going to be some obstacles for him to overcome in order to find a way to be the starter out there at the guard spot. I ultimately think that he ends up being the backup center And once again, I'm not saying that he can't be a starting guard for us. Maybe he does ball out this year, but I have him down the line, even maybe potentially this season, being JPJ's backup at the center spot and being a rotational guard for us moving forward, Ten. So I hope that answered your question, my brother. Salute to Nada as well for that content. Salute to my guy, Nada. All right, let's get to it, man. So we put together 10 storylines to watch. Okay, this is both me and Wasted, you guys. I'm gonna read them, and we're both gonna talk about it. And I think that we've kind of touched on some of these subjects in the last 2 or 3 weeks, but we're gonna go back over because OTAs is officially here, and there's a lot to talk about with this team. Few storylines. I'm gonna throw this one your way. Will Kolton Miller get a new deal? Wasted, with voluntary OTAs now officially here, with all the smoke cleared from the draft and him not showing up to, voluntary workouts and so on and so forth. Will Kolton Miller get a new deal?
I think it depends on what they get out of Charles Grant.
Okay.
Charles Grant is a guy that and he's a guy that, look, I have Rodgers starting at guard, right? But I think Charles Grant was a guy that they put in the queue to be a starter going forward. Mm-hmm. Like I really do. And I think if they like what they see out of him in limited time, I think that's gonna kind of determine. Like there are two guys that were drafted this year, and Jack Besh and Grant, that were drafted to replace two big time starters on this team. Yeah. And I think Besh was here to replace Jacoby Myers. They're like very identical guys.
I talked about that the other day. People didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear it, but I agree.
People don't want to hear it, but it makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. The youth movement, you got your guy to fulfill that role. And I think Grant is a guy that I don't know if he plays this year, but I think that he's here to replace Kolton Miller in real time. Okay.
I believe that he'll get a 2-year deal. I think he sticks around. They're going to allow Charles Grant to grow. He's a developmental guy. He will be our starting tackle down the line, but I do believe he'll get a 2-year extension, put some extra guaranteed money in the books, and I think Kolton will be around and retire a Raider. Number 2, Will Glaze, DJ Glaze, a kid that was a 3rd-round guy out of Maryland that we were like, what the hell's going on? Like, it was a name that we didn't talk about a lot during that draft, and he came out and surprised a lot of us in Raider Nation last year. Will Glaze keep that starting right position? Pause.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't. What was it?
Damn it.
Yo, what is going on with the sound machine?
The sound machine sucks, man. What the F is wrong with this damn sound?
Where's Hammer when you need him?
I know, man.
Hammer had to go out and get 2-3 jobs and take care of his family and shit.
You're a magician.
Yeah, take care of his family and shit.
Like, I know, man.
Like, what are you doing, Hammer? Step your game down, bro. Come back over here and deal with us.
What's going on with this Hammer guy? Shout out to Hammer. Bro, I think Glaze.
I'm filling this up real quick. I'm listening.
Yeah, I think Glaze is a guy that was probably, man, the best kept secret and the biggest surprise coming out of last year's draft. Nobody thought that DJ Glaze, when we took him, we were like, who the hell is this guy, right? He came out, he played some significant snaps for the Raiders. Significant snaps. And to the point where, like, I want to go, let me go on Pro Football Focus really quickly, right? And I want to go and really talk about just how well a guy that nobody thought would start, how he came in and pretty much played, man. I mean, he was a top crust rookie, man. He has a 66.1 plus grade overall, a 61.9 passing blocking grade, and a 68.4 run blocking grade. That was 46 out of 140 tackles in the National Football League, right? So, he ranked 25th in offensive snaps, 6th in pass block snaps, 39th in run block snaps played, 110th in penalties, which is excellent. He only had 8. 77th in sacks allowed. He only allowed 3 sacks. 137th, he only allowed 10 hits, and 138th with 51 pressures. Now that's out of 150 possible tackles. So DJ Glaze as a rookie, man, just try to extrapolate where he will be if you leave him in at the second year. I mean, he played every snap at right tackle last year.
He appeared in 17 games, started in 14 of them in his rookie.
And he played 998 snaps as a freaking rookie. That is a phenomenal rookie year, bro. So just extrapolate where he is going to be going forward.
Yeah, I agree.
So DJ is a guy that you have to allow, unless there's a dramatic drop off in play. You got to have somebody there just in case, because we know this is the Raiders, right? We've seen this years and years at every position where you'll have a guy that comes in and we're like, man, he's gonna take the world by storm the next year. Where's he gonna be? Is he gonna get better? And then it doesn't happen, right? So you got to have a guy behind him. That's why that's a possibility where you can have a Thayer Munford to be that kind of guy. You can have a Charles Grant play right tackle, left tackle. But I think Grant, if I'm being honest, should be groomed to be the left tackle. He's built like a DeBrickashaw Ferguson. He's real lean tackle. Probably needs a little more muscle. But the guys, he's a guy that will be ready to roll, plug and play next year if you start him and have him learn behind Colt Miller. And that is one of the reasons why previously we talked about Colt Miller getting a new deal. I don't think he does. Rich,
he was a rookie last season. He was thrown into the fire. His first snaps at the NFL level, it's going to happen. You're going to have some penalties. I mean, you can go across the NFL and look at these rooks that are getting used to the speed of the game. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean,
bro, 8 penalties from a rookie. Are you effing kidding me? Are you effing kidding me?
But Rich is also the guy that said our season is over already because we let go of Jack Jones, who didn't get picked up from anybody else. So, it is what it is.
So if you want to do that, right? If you want to do that, right? So you got to look at some other guys that play right tackle in this league, right? You could even look at Colton Miller's last year, right? So when you start talking about, and Colton Miller is a guy that is the man, right? Colton Miller is our best lineman, right? Colton Miller had 7 penalties last year.
Yeah.
So what the F are you talking about?
I know a lot of those came early on when he was dealing with that shoulder injury. So I'm not giving him any excuses or outs.
He is still a vet. He's one of the better tackles in this league, and he had 7 penalties.
Yeah. Rich, get the hell out of here. Salute to Mark Beavers. Love the Graphk and Wasted Show. And Mark, we love you, brother. We appreciate you for the support. I think we can both agree DJ Glaze will be the starting right tackle for this roster moving forward. Number 3, this is a question that I have for you specifically. I wanted your take. I didn't ask you about this offline or anything, but we went and got, a 33-year-old running back in the offseason, right?
Yep.
And he struggled last year trying to get back from a fractured sternum. He also missed time with a chest injury. There was a ton of stuff going on out there in Miami. Father Time is catching up to him. But in 2023, Raheem Mostert had a phenomenal year. I think over 1,000 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns on the ground. How do you feel about that running back 2 spot? Is this pretty much in the bag for Raheem Mostert if he's healthy? Or do you think that Zeus, Sincere, or Dylan can potentially steal that spot? I think that 3rd running back spot is really realistically for a Sincere or a Dylan Laube. That 2nd spot, I don't know. Maybe Sincere can steal that 2nd spot. Right. I don't know. But
let me tell you something. I think this is one of those, every year there's guys that are signed to free agency that don't make it out of camp. I think he's the guy that probably doesn't, right? Because when you start looking at 31-year-old running backs right now, keep in mind Derrick Henry's 31 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about 2023, and yet it's 2025.
Yeah,
2023, my brother, right? Yeah. So when you start talking about the most yards by 31-year-old running back, it's Curtis Martin. Curtis Martin had almost 1,700 yards when he's 31 years old. Then 2nd, Tiki Barber. Mm-hmm. Then you got Walter Payton, had 1,500 yards. Thomas Jones, Tony Dorsett, Ricky Running Waters, Emmitt Smith with 1,200 yards. Fred Taylor, Warwick Dunn. Now you see the names I'm talking about.
Oh, geez.
Do you hear any of these guys? And the thing with Mostert, right? Is he's older than 31? Because Raheem Mostert at 31, huh?
He's 33. At 31, he had
1,000 yards season. So this is 31. So when we start asking about the most yards from a running back at age 33, and that's the reason why I did this, right? The most yards by a running back at age 33 was Adrian Peterson with the Washington Redskins. Well, Commanders, whatever. He had 1,000 yards. I
forgot he was even there.
I forgot he was there too, right? Then you got Frank Gore. I think he was with the Colts that year that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
He had 1,000 yards, 16 games played, right? And then after that, there's a dramatic drop-off, bro.
And you don't put him in that category.
And that's what I'm saying. So you have a bunch of guys that are Hall of Fame top crust guys. Franco Harris, Emmitt Smith. Mm-hmm. So Emmitt Smith had 975 yards, right? Franco Harris had 1,000 yards. Frank Gore had 1,025. And these guys played 16 games, started those games, Adrian Peterson. And then after that, you got old Jay Anderson, Marcus Allen, John Henry, and a hodgepodge.
Jamal Anderson?
No.
You said who?
Old Jay Anderson. OJ Anderson, bro.
What the fuck?
Remember OJ Anderson from the Giants? OJ.
Yo, I thought you just said Jay Anderson and not OJ Anderson.
Now OJ from Jersey.
Oh, okay. Holy shit. Holy shit. Real quick, salute to Michael. Are the rookies? Yes, they are officially signed, my brother. Salute to you on a $2 donation. Our rooks are all in the building, signed, sealed, delivered, and good to go. But continue to be on your soapbox, Wasted.
Listen, this is a guy that, you know, is not going to have the luxury of being running back number one at 33 years old, right? Then you start looking at contractually, right? Yeah, he's a guy. They kind of wanted to tie their camel up, right? They did that because they
leave it up to you to say some shit like that, man. Go ahead.
Well, look, man. You know,
tie the camel up.
Well, listen. That's in the Quran, right? You know what I'm saying? That is in. You know, listen. Look, I've read the Bible. I've read all religious books, right? But yes, they did that to kind of shore up to try to make sure that they had options on this roster just in case they didn't get the running back.
Yeah, agreed. So
now they got the number one guy, the number one guy, generational guy, supposedly, right? There's really not much need for Raheem Mostert because this is not going to be a running back by committee. This is going to be bell cow central. And if you do,
I agree. But I think he'll be a goal line situational guy at 33. He'll get some burn. He's still a fast ass running back, even at 33 years old. But coming off that injury is kind of nasty work.
But he's coming off of a lower extremity injury, right? He's also older. And then you have guys on this roster who don't make a whole lot, who are very, very young guys. And you have a guy in Zamir White that we say he doesn't have vision, this, that, and the third. But I think with a coach like we got here in Chip Kelly, I think if anyone can get something out of Zamir White in this league, it will be Chip Kelly. And Zamir White, I think he translates to being a great backup running back.
Okay.
I don't think he's a bell cow running back. I think he is a guy that needs to have limited carries. He's a guy that you spell in. He's a guy that, when Genty gets a little tired, you put Zeus in, he breaks off a 20-yard run for you.
Yeah, I agree. Salute to my guy, Brandon, the Jersey King Curtis, my guy, sending you some good stuff for the St. Jude marathon. Salute to my guy. We were talking yesterday. What do y'all think, man? So my guy came up with a good plan. And we'll get back to the show here in a second. We will be doing the St. Jude's marathon show sometime this week. And my guy said, what do you think about the highest super chat? Because look, with those shows, I'm asking. We don't never ask for money, but when it comes for this kind of cause, we're asking. My guy Brandon wanted to give away some jerseys. He said, what about a Max Crosby signed jersey? Maybe a couple things, some goodies that we can give away to the highest super chats. So stay tuned for that. And Brandon, I was holding Wasted's memorabilia hostage for a reason. I was like, I'm going to force my brother to come out here and get it. But we talked about it the other day. We're actually going to get it sent out to him soon. So stay tuned. My brother have all his Yankees, and he may be a Raider jersey or two short. I don't know. You never know what maybe sit in the mailbox.
Look, man. Look, I'm
just messing with you.
There's a list of a few things, bro.
Hey, until I get my Raider Pimp Cup.
Pay back as hell, Graphk.
Hey, where's my Raider Pimp Cup? My shit is just sitting out there chilling. Hey, you know what, Brandon? Until he sends me my shit, I'm not sending his shit. But it's still sitting here, ready to go, safe, and out.
It's in the same place. It's in the same place Hammer's plane tickets in. You effing dead.
Yo, salute to Brandon. We appreciate you, bro, for coming out with some ideas to get involved with some giveaways. We appreciate you, man. So I think all in all, we talked about this whole Raheem Mostert. I do believe he'll be the running back too. I think you're on to something with Zamir White. I do believe that they're going to find a way to get him involved in this offense. And once again, he's not a bell cow guy. He's not a guy that needs to run the football 15, 20 times a game. Give him a few reps, and maybe he works in this system. We shall see.
Can he be this era's Michael Bush?
Hey, the Bushinator.
Yo, Michael Bush was the effing man.
Hey,
bro.
80s and 70s porn, baby. The Bushinator.
Oh,
The
no.
Jim Plunkett 2.0, baby.
No. Did you go full Vanessa Del Rio?
The Plunkinator.
Did you go full Nina Hartley? What's the
Zamir Plunkinator White. Salute to Brandon. We appreciate you. Salute to our guy, Mutation ×2. Football fans are shit on Chip Kelly today because of an interview Ashton Genty did with Kay Adams. I know. I've seen it. We're going to talk about that here as well. Regarding Genty changing his stance, the whining from football fans just never stops. And Mutation, I actually liked what he said. What Chip Kelly said was, basically, when show me how you guard when you play basketball. Have you ever played basketball? Show me how you guard. And he kind of got in his stance. He said, there's a reason why they do that. He said, get away from that Michael Myers straight up stance and look like you like I forgot what the words what they said. And mind you, Kay Adams even retweeted me. I sent that over to Wasted. She retweeted what I said on Twitter, but I think that I think Michael Myers will be back soon. I think the boogeyman will be back. I think right now they're trying to get him accustomed to the NFL level and what they want out of him at this system. Once he gets comfortable and he gets to moving and shaking, I think that he'll be swaggy back there in the backfield again. And I think they'll allow him to have that stand-up stance. But I do like what Chip Kelly said. He pretty much, said that, it's about business. It's business. I think kind of that's essentially what he said. I mean, I could be wrong. That's not what the words they used, but it was like, this is how you guard. This is how you guard. Like, why would you be standing up?
Look, my thing is this, right? There are people in sport that have a unique way to how they go about their business, right? There were people that thought that Michael Jordan would never be able to run a franchise without a big. Like, people thought bigs, you had to have a big. That's how the NBA was. Bigs always went first, right? You got to have a big guy.
Yeah.
And the league changes. People thought that Stephen Curry wouldn't be able to survive just shooting threes and, how small he was, right?
Yeah.
And then you have guys that are uniquely talented. They come into this league and they change the way things are done. And then you look back 10 years after they leave the league and you have 20 guys doing the same stuff that they did. So when I think about an Ashton Genty, right? If this is something that's going to mess with his vision and how he sees the field, I think it will be wise for Pete Carroll to leave him the F alone. People my guy Reno Rocket, it just kind of reiterated what I was just saying. He said, people didn't like Eric Dickerson's running style. There are certain people that come into the league and they change things. I remember Barry Sanders. People wanted him to have a fullback. Never wanted one. He liked it being a single back formation.
Real quick, Wasted. This is exactly, and I don't mean to cut you off, brother, but this is what he said. Sometimes you got to go with the flow. Genty said. What's crazy is Chip Kelly, he comes up to me first day of rookie mini camp. He's like, you play basketball? You ever play basketball? I'm like, yeah, I play basketball. I could dunk, all that. He's like, okay, well, show me how you would guard me. When Genty crouched in defensive position, Kelly said, that's exactly why you got to be down in your running back stance. And that was that for now, at least. He won for now. Genty said, I'm going to try to persuade him one day. I got to earn my stripes, make some plays first, but I don't think it's going to end. So those were the exact words.
Well, I think because if he has to block, if he has to be a weak side blocker, right, that's probably why, right? Yeah. And him standing up, he doesn't have the quite the leverage, right? So I think, being at Boise State and him being, option A, B, and C, you knew you was going to get the ball most of the time.
Yeah.
You knew it. In the NFL, I understand why they want him to get in the traditional running back stance, because low man wins. So when he has to block, it'll help him be a better blocker at the National Football League level. But we're not paying him to block. We are, but for the most part, paying him to run that football. Yeah. So I hope it doesn't affect his vision downfield.
Salute to Hug. He says, in case the chat missed it, Wasted went on a nature walk on IG this weekend and had his hat turned backwards. I didn't see a hairline. And you know what's funny, Hug? Wasted thought walking 7 miles, he was going to grow one. It just didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Graphk, let me ask you a question, man. You're talking about, my hairline, right? And you are the man who is the pioneer of the front taper. The front taper.
No, but
you thought if you got yours shaped up that it was going to grow back through mitosis, man.
What did James Ashley
grow back?
What did Dame Dash say to DJ Clue? He's like, man, you got a Caesar right here. You got a taper on the side. You got a shape up in the back.
Yeah, he said he represent every borough. He goes to all 5 boroughs.
Salute to Gator Don't Play. I would trade Zeus for a 40 ounce and some Newports. Man, in the early 2000s, man, that was breakfast.
Yeah, man. What you talking about, bro? That was premium real estate right there, dog.
Premium real estate. Salute to my guy, Gator Don't Play. Salute to Hug D's as well. Salute to the Mokes. Biggest Don't Know chat gets to see Wasted without his hat. Oh, biggest donation chat gets to see Wasted without his hat.
You get to see nothing.
Nothing.
Salute
to M.
I come back from Turkey.
Salute to MVE. Just get Besh signed. I thought he was signed already.
He is signed.
Besh is signed. Isn't he signed?
All our rookie class is signed.
Yeah, I thought that he was signed already.
Everybody's signed.
We have the makings of a good O, not sold on the back 7. I think the D takes a step back. That said, I'm sitting at 8 to 9 wins. Salute to my guy, MVE.
You know, your father never had the makings of a varsity athlete.
Salute to my guy, MVE. Appreciate you, brother. And look, I like what they're doing with the youth movement in the cornerback room and the safety, just DBs in general. I think that Jeremy Chin was a great pickup. I think bringing Palomal back was phenomenal. I do believe that Jacorian's going to take that step in year 3. I think that DCam's going to get a lot better in year 2. And if Eric Stokes can stay healthy, which is a major if, we may have a steal with him as well. So we shall see. We'll see what this thing looks like. I don't think we're done yet in that corner room, though, MVE. I don't think we're done.
I don't either. And the thing about the corner room that kind of worries me is that you don't have that one stalwart there that has done well at the NFL level. Yeah, that's the one thing that kind of concerns me a bit. You know, it really does, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we talked about number 4, who will start in the slot. I think right now they're going to find a way to have Besh pretty much there in the slot, with Tucker on the outside on the boundary, with Jacoby on the other. I mean, would you agree with that? I think they're going to interchange and move these guys around.
I think the formation is going to dictate where they line up. Yeah. I think the matchup is going to dictate where they line up. A guy like Besh is one of those guys that, he can play so many different styles as a wide.
You can't keep him off the field. You
can't take him off the field. So it all depends on who's out there, right? Like if he has a situation where he can bully around a guy on the outside, they're going to leave him out there. You know what I mean? Because he's not one of those conflict route kind of guys. He's not just one of those guys that got to fight for every, possession. There's some guys that those conflict route guys where they got to fight all the way down the field and his body positioning and things like that. But Besh is such a crisp route runner, and he has some speed. He doesn't have that kind of speed where it shows up like in shorts at the combine. But he's one of those guys that you're going to be like, damn, he looks a lot faster in the game.
It's the same thing as Puka. That's why you see that comparison so much. It's the same thing. I think that, even on his tape, he doesn't look like the fastest guy, but look, he gets the job done. Besh gets the job done. That's all that really matters. Number 5, this is a big question in the nation right now, because that second level of our defense has been bad for a long time, Wasted. We still really didn't address the linebacker spot until the 7th round. We did go into free agency and grab a few veterans. Are Landon Roberts and Devin White the starting linebackers week 1 for our Raiders, barring any setbacks in training camp? Are those 2 guys the 2 linebackers out there to start for this team day 1?
Yeah, but the thing is, the thing that I wonder is that why do we just assume there's only going to be 2 linebackers starting?
Well, we'll see some. I know we're going to see some different looks. I'm just essentially, are those the 2 top linebackers that we have on this roster? I know you talked about Tommy Eichenberg getting.
Well, look, if I'm being honest, I think it's Landon Roberts and Tommy Eichenberg, and I think the third one would be Devin White. I think Devin White,
situational guy, pass rusher.
Yeah, pass rusher, have him as like kind of a will. And the thing is that I just don't think that you're going to see as many sub packages as Patrick Graham. I think that's the tweak that's going to come in. I don't think you're going to have as many DBs out there all the time because of the simple fact that, they got ran on. They got Pete Carroll. If he's nothing else, he wants a physical defense that imposes his will.
Yeah.
And you don't do that just having DBs out there.
Yeah. Agreed. I think once again, I think we kind of hit the nail on the head with Devin White. He'll be a situational guy, more of a pass rusher. You'll see him out there. He'll get a ton of burn. I think Landon Roberts is the guy at the linebacker spot for us because once again, Pete Carroll wants a physical defense, a guy that can play the run at a high level, and that's exactly who he is. I want to see Amari Gainer. I hope that Pete Carroll falls in love with this kid this training camp, because once again, he's been putting the work in all off season. I'm expecting Amari Gainer, Ferrari, to get a ton of burn this year and to take that next step. You guys know I'm high on Tommy Eichenberg, but honestly, I think that Amari Gainer just fits the mold of what Pete Carroll wants with his defensive players. I think that this is a guy that can be a sideline guy. You know, in college, he was lined up as an edge rusher. He played the linebacker spot, on ball, off ball.
He's an outside linebacker, Graphk.
Yeah, I agree.
And he is a guy that, hey, you talk about losing some depth as far as pass rusher goes, right? Because we had to make our decision, right? We got back our guy. We got back Malcolm Kuntz, right?
Yeah, we got back Max Crosby. Shit.
We got back Max Crosby, but I'm just saying over there, right? We got to look at what we lost to the Patriots. We got to look at what we lost to the Patriots, right? I think Amari can kind of fill in for both of those guys that we lost to the Patriots. He is a guy that is so versatile. You can put him at linebacker and you can put him at edge rusher.
Let's go. So number 5, this was it, you guys. Will Landon Robertson, Devin White be your starters at the linebacker spots? Let's get these supers in real quick before we finish up the last 5. Forte, this is facts. Mostert was a short yardage guru. Just 2 years ago, he had 20 TDs tied with McCaffrey. Just saying. I could see him on third and goal line situations. That's why I was saying I could see him on the football field a lot in goal line situations.
That's 2 years ago, though, brother. It all depends on how healthy he is and how spry he looks in camp. If I'm the Raiders, I'm not running a guy that is into the 4th year of his career out of the building for a 33-year-old running back.
Salute the Raider Loso. Projections. We're going to do a projection show soon. So stay tuned. I don't want to put any numbers out there yet for Gino. Stay tuned. We'll do a Graphk Wasted or a Shieldmore show, and we'll break down all the projections that we have for Brock, Jacoby, Besh, Gino, so on and so forth. So stay tuned, Loso. I appreciate you being a member for 6 months. If you guys want to become members like Loso, man, hit the links up top. It definitely helps us keep the lights on, you guys. And once again, it gives us more incentive to to do these members only shows moving forward. So if you guys want to become members, hit the links on both sides. It definitely helps us keep the lights on. Salute to Brandon. As long as they cover the middle of the field. Talk, Brandon. Talk. Salute to my guy, Brandon, the Jersey King Curtis. And salute to my guy, Brandon, man. He's out there in Central California. He works for a casino. We're trying to get something going out there soon. Salute to Brandon. He's doing great things out there. Great work with his business. We're trying to put some streams together out there, man. So stay tuned, you guys. For all my people in Northern California, Central Cali, some Southern Cali, keep an eye out. We may be out there, me and Wasted, soon, doing some live streams to get the nation together out there in California. Salute to my guy, Brandon. Salute to Hug Dizzle, my dog, on a $20 special. Some great men were bald-headed in history, Wasted. I just want you to embrace your inner greatness, much like the greats before you. George Jefferson, George Foreman, Tyrese, Vin Diesel, Charlie Brown.
My man said George Jefferson and Charlie High Stakes.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. That was a fire ass soup.
Yo, Hug, F you. Yo, I'm starting to like Hug these less and less.
Yo, salute to Hug with the comment of the show. Salute to Mutation. Jack Besh is not signed yet. Okay, so he's not signed.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Raiders website right now as we speak. Darian Porter signed. Jalen. Last week I saw something that said that he signed.
Okay.
Right, but I don't see it in the transactions. Right, I'm looking at the transactions on the Raiders official website. Kentron Jackson.
But I like what he said though, Wasted. He said, Vinny said nothing to freak out over. There's only first 2 second-round picks in the league have signed thus far. So there's a ton of second rounders that's not even signed yet. This is nothing to worry about, you guys. And salute to my guy MVE. We're sorry for saying that you were wrong, brother. I thought that I assumed he was already signed.
Yeah, so, bro, I saw something that said he signed. Now I don't see it. Like on the same day they signed Darian Porter, they were saying.
Remember they all did the presser together. It was Porter,
Dante Thornton signed, Zachary Franklin, all these guys.
Yeah. So
Matt Jones, Jalen Walker, Hudson Smith, Mello Dotson, Humphrey, Greedy Vance.
I love that Mello is locked in. It's funny. Yesterday I thought I had a waste. I said, did I just get blocked by another player? No, Mello Dotson deleted his Instagram. He's locked in. He's locked in. I'm telling y'all now, the sincere McCormick of the 2025 draft class, mellow, high stakes, Dotson out of Kansas. Keep an ear out for that name. Real quick, number 6. We brought back Malcolm Kuntz. I'm hearing really good things about Ja Joyner, the UDFA out of Minnesota.
I think Ja Joyner is going to press people for playing.
I agree. Charles Snowden is back in the fold. Where does Tyree fit on this roster up to this point, Wasted? Like going into training camp, is he a rotational guy at the defensive tackle position? Is he a rotational edge rusher? Is he both? Is he a starter? Like, where do you look at with Tyree Wilson in year 3?
I think Tyree Wilson fits wherever his skill set allows him to fit. He is a guy that it makes sense for the Raiders to have playing 90% of the snaps just based off of where he was drafted.
Yeah,
it makes sense, right? But does his play make sense to have him playing that much? Tyree Wilson is just one of those guys that's in a situation where, it's hard to play yourself from like a UDFA onto a start. And just, they say that contracts and where you're drafted doesn't matter, but it does, right? Because you get your GMs fired if you got guys that are UDFAs outperforming guys that were drafted in the 3rd and the 2nd round and stuff like that. Yeah. I think GMs and organizations double down on guys who get paid more right off the bat. So Tyree Wilson's in a really unique situation where if he does outperform somebody, the organization will be like, thank God we took you 7th. Even though we didn't take you, you were the 7th pick in the entire draft, right? Mm-hmm. And we have a 5th-year option on you if we so choose.
Yeah. And it's funny. Did you see the Chef and Max podcast episode? They had Scheffler on there. And he asked Max, he said, was there one player that you went to bat for to draft and the Raiders didn't? And he said, yes. Max was like, and to this day, I'm still pissed that it didn't happen. It was Jalen High Stakes Carter. It was Jalen Carter, man.
Come on, bro.
It was Jalen Carter. I'm telling you. They didn't mention his name, but I'm telling you now.
Bro, come on.
But that should put pressure on Tyree as well. I mean, I know he loves Tyree, but
does he? I mean, does he? Because when I hear Max Crosby talk about some people say they want to be great and then they don't show up. They show up the first day and not. To me, and look, I have nothing except deductive reasoning to back up that point. But to me, it's Tyree.
Yeah.
I don't see Tyree Wilson lock and step with Max.
Okay.
I hear about Malcolm Kuntz.
Yeah. Oh, no,
I don't hear nothing about Tyree Wilson being
I've spoken to people. Tyree's out there with them. He's been out there. He's been shadowing Max all off season.
This off season.
Well, I mean, last year he latched on as well. I mean, look.
Sucks.
You just have your personal reasons. I get it. I understand.
Out of here.
The epic meltdown that was Mr. Wasted High Stake Talent when we took Tyree Wilson at Barcode Cody's establishment. Salute to Coach, still sipping that same tired ass Jamba Juice. Wasted. There's been great bald men. Lex Steele, Mandingo. Hey, don't cheat me now. Mandingo.
Whoa, easy.
Michael Jordan, and yours truly, the coach of all coaches. Hey, why does Coach look like Money L right there?
You do. A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, man. A little bit, man. Yo, you know what? When that picture of him sipping the Jamba Juice, it just looked like he hating on somebody. Don't it look like he hating on somebody?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, man, that motherfucker ain't buy no new car. That ain't his.
Yeah, he got a lot of hate. He got a lot of hate in his heart.
I see the hate in his beard.
Yeah, and the greatest name in YouTube history, Dixon Sider, says Jada Pinkett as well. Ball-headed goat.
Yo, what? Guys, let me tell you something. I'm not rocking a cul-de-sac. I'm not rocking a cul-de-sac. But what I would tell you is this. Have the shores of the Wasted Talent hairline eroded a little bit?
Of course.
Yes.
Yes.
Over the last 3 years, it has been a hard adjustment for Mr. Wasted Talent. That is why I've turned into Raider LL Cool J. You will never see. You will see me getting the shape up with my baseball cap on.
Wasted.
I get the turkey.
Wasted James Evans Talent.
Nah, man, my shit ain't bad as James Evans. Yo,
you had some good times with your hairline.
You dragging it. So that's all I'm gonna hear about that Florida. I'm going out, Florida.
So number 7. Christian Wilkins, is his health actually a factor? So I know that Tashawn put out an article, I believe, earlier. I didn't get a chance to read it. I know it was like a subscriber only thing, so I didn't get a chance to read it. But I did see that Christian Wilkins was on the thumbnail, and I think this is the biggest question in Raider Nation, right? Tony Pauline of Sports Kita put this out a while ago that he said that he heard potentially he would need a second surgery, may miss some time this year. He wasn't a boot at Max's podcast. You know, when it comes down to this, I don't think I don't think there's too much to see here. I don't, but I don't find it a coincidence that we took 2 defensive tackles in this year's class after bringing back another veteran defensive tackle. But we went and got JJ. We went and got Tonka. I think there could be something there. I'm not going to jump the gun yet. You know, Christian Wilkins missed a ton of last season with that foot injury. How do you feel about this whole situation? We've talked about it ad nauseum, but it's getting closer and closer to training camp. He has been out there. I've seen him putting in some reps. You know, he's been out there working out, so on and so forth. How do you feel about the Christian Wilkins side of things with his health?
Well, look, man, big man with a foot injury.
Yeah. It's tough to get over that.
Yeah, big man with a foot injury. We really do not know. We really do not know, man. And I'm going to be 100% real with you. I'm worried about it. Look, wait, hold up. The Raiders have signed Jack Besh, 4-year, $7.56 million deal, $2.14 million signing bonus. His cap hit will be $1.4 million.
Okay, so there it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was that on?
Yahoo Sports.
Oh shit, it's Yahoo. So there you go, confirmed. So hey, MVE, we were right, you were wrong. Hey, I'm sorry. I said I was sorry about being sorry. I'm sorry. Salute to MVE.
F up out of here.
Nah, but Christian Wilkins. Do you think
bro,
that we're gonna see a ton of
like I said, man, the big man with a foot injury, bro. We got to see it, bro. I'm not gonna sit up here and say it's not an issue, because listen, the injury itself, it was a daunting injury to come back from to begin with. Yeah. To begin with, it was something that I was super concerned about last year, and I could see it taking a long time, man.
Mm-hmm. Once again, I'm not going to jump the gun yet. Everybody that's in the building has said that they see nothing with Christian Wilkins having a setback. They've heard everything positive about him up to this point. But once again, we shall see. You took 2 defensive tackles in the draft, Tonka, JJ. There may be a reasoning for that. But once again, I'm not going to jump the gun here yet with Christian Wilkins until there's something solidified that says that there was a setback with his injury. Number 8, can Geno and Pete Carroll replicate the success that they had together early on in Seattle? Where does Aiden fit in the grand scheme of things moving forward? I ask you this because the first major move that they made was essentially taking themselves out of the Shador race and going to get Geno Smith for a 3rd-round pick. They moved Devontae's pick to go get their quarterback of right now and of the future, at least for the next 2 or 3 seasons. This has to work for Pete Carroll, or this is a very, very bad look. Geno has had some up and down career these past 3 or 4 seasons. He's looked a lot better in Seattle. Last year was a setback because no ground game, the terrible offensive line. He still managed to throw for 4,300 yards in the air. He did have like 15 picks and like 20 touchdowns. But can they replicate that success that they had early on in Seattle? I believe in 2022 they went to the playoffs. Geno won most of the players.
4,200 yards, correct play of the year. And he ain't right back. But look, if we being honest, bro, I don't want him to replicate that success because they didn't win anything there. They won nothing there. You know, he threw for 30 touchdowns. He had 11 picks. He threw for 4,000 yards. Great. But is that real success? The metric for success to us is making the playoffs, winning a playoff game, winning another playoff game, possibly winning another playoff game.
That's success. Wasted. We've been terrible for a long. If you get to the playoffs in year 1 with Pete and Geno, that's a success. Do we want to win a game?
No, it's not just getting there; is winning.
Getting there in year 1 after going 4-13 is a blessing in disguise. That's a win,
bro. Look, Mr. Analytical, wasted talent. You know, if I'm firing all cylinders, I'm doing my show. I'm not gonna paint myself in the corner and say what I'm about to say. But I don't give a shit today, and I'm gonna be real with you.
Talk.
I don't want to hear that. Success for me is winning a goddamn playoff. I mean, we're the goddamn Raiders. We haven't won a playoff game in over 20 years.
Yeah.
I have a child that is going to college and driving that has never seen his team win a playoff game.
Ever.
That's ridiculous. Winning is success. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm not saying they got to go to Super Bowl, but if they get to the playoffs, they better win a goddamn game. The F up out of here.
As long as we don't have Connor Cook out there flinging that thing.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't listen, man. You said flinging that thing. You got to pause.
I'm not pausing anything today.
Wait, hold on. You heard that?
I'm in a good mood today. I'm not pausing anything.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. What was that? That sounded like some dinner bell shit. Like
right.
Is dinner ready?
Hold on. It's working.
It's working.
Oh, yes.
Salute to Shiloh. Besh. Okay, we read that. It's signed to a 4-year, $7.56 million, according to Google on May 9th. Salute to my guy on the $5 special. Shock, talk that shit. Dylan Lowby, MVP incoming. Talk. Salute to my guy, Shock Bowers. All right, let's finish up these last few. I do believe though that I trust Pete Carroll. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna end on that note. Is I trust Pete Carroll. There was a reason why he went and got his guy, and I think that they can do some great things out there. I think that offensively they got so much better this offseason through the draft, and bringing in Ashton Genty to help get that ground game going. I'm excited. I think that Geno and Pete can replicate some of that success that they had in Seattle. And like our brother Wasted said, let's win a fucking playoff game. Number 9, we talked about this already. I don't even have to do it. Will Jack Besh win a starting spot? A lot of talk about him being ready, Trey Tucker, so on and so, but we already did that. Number 10, who are your starting corners right now? Wasted. And outside of that, post June 1st, are we going to make a move? Are we waiting for Jair Alexander? Are we waiting to see if, we make the move for Jalen out there in Miami? What are your guys right now at the corner spot? And also, essentially, who is your starting slot corner right now?
Well, we got Jacorian Bennett, right? And I think DCam gets the other spot on the other side. I really do. And the reason why is because DCam last year got a lot of penalties and stuff like that, but that was some rookie stuff.
Year one happens.
Year one. I think his style of play lines up with Pete Carroll, and his athletic profile and his physical traits line up with Pete Carroll and what he wants to see out there, right? So okay. I think those two guys start. Now, when you start talking about who the slot corner is, I don't know we have a designated guy, but it will probably be one of our free agents because, some people say, Trey Taylor, I don't know, he's a safety.
I'm one of the only few that mentioned that because I watched him a ton at Air Force and I see.
Yeah, and he's a missile, right? He's a missile. Yeah. But, I think you'd want to put a corner in that spot.
Darnay Holmes is there. He's still there.
And Darnay Holmes, the guy that held that spot down. But I think they're going to platoon at that position. I think the situation is going to dictate who they put out there. I don't think you're going to have a situation where you have like how we have with Nate Hobbs. I think that you're going to have like 2 or 3 guys at that position that's going to platoon based off of the matchup. Okay.
I think we make a move post-June. I do. Whether it is a Jair, whether it is a Jalen, we're going to make a move for another corner. But if I had to pick, I have to disagree with you with DCam. It'd be great to see that. But I think originally we're going to run with Jacorian, and barring any injuries in camp, I think that Eric Stokes is going to be the guy opposite.
DCam, like your life depended on it.
Hey, that would be perfect, right? Because you have a guy on a rookie deal. You got a guy on a prove-it deal with Stokes, 1 year, former first-round pick. I would love to see DCam still one of those spots. But I do believe that they're going to run with Stokes. They're going to run with Stokes and Jacorian.
Hold on. Hold the phone, Graphk. Hold the phone.
Yo, they should have never gave this motherfucker money.
They never gave you money.
Yo, Omni says Eric Stokes versus DCam. I mean, I can see it. I can see them battling it out for one of those spots. Alex says Justin Simmons coming to the Raiders.
That would be great.
I would love it too, but I just don't think you need to add another safety. I think they like what they have out there. So to Spivey, I'm predicting a 10-win season. I'm not mad at you, Spive. I think that's kind of where I ended up doing my quick prediction on the schedule. I had us at 10-7, 9-8, somewhere in that range. And I think if we could somehow, some way beat one of those teams in prime time, like Dallas, I think we could potentially get 11 wins. But I think that's the ceiling. That's the ceiling. I think that's the ceiling. I got us in that 10-7, 9-8 range. For sure. A real slot corner in next year's draft. Hey, man, this is not a 1-year build, right? It's going to take some time to put this team together. I don't think that you're going to get every position right in one offseason.
Nah, man. I mean, come on, man. This is a retool.
Yeah,
right?
So to speak. Yeah.
This is an ongoing project. This is a product that is under construction as we speak. Yeah. Now, look. Would I like to see the Raiders go out there and take a swing on a Jalen Ramsey Yeah, but that's if he was the player that was the alpha and omega, the pinnacle note into us competing and actually going deep in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. This is too new of a program to go and make a swing like that now. That's just how I feel, right? Like because of the amount of money and how it would hamstrung the Raiders financially. The Raiders still have to be financially viable. Now, the cool thing is that the Raiders have a ton of cap space coming next year.
And this year, we still have a ton left right now.
Well, we do, but we have even more because of some of the cap penalties that are going to come off.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The Raiders got like the crazy amount. I got to look again.
But we have a slew of money, over $100 million or something like that, right? Next year,
it's going to be crazy, bro. It's going to be sick and silly. It is going to be crazy. You're going to hear the bell ring as soon as it's time to go for free agency. We'll run the track, baby. Let's go.
Salute to everybody here, man. Make sure you guys take some time real quick and wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are y'all waiting on? Hit that subscribe button. We're about to hit the hour and 15 mark. We'll have a couple more minutes, you guys, to get some of you guys' questions in. Just do us a favor once again. Make sure you wipe them feet, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on both sides. And once again, if you guys want to become members on each channel, hit the link. It's pinned up top. Paper Chase, I'm happy that you brought this up because Vinny B answers. He did like a Q&A the other day on this what is it, The Athletic, or is it the Las Vegas Review Journal he works for? Mm-hmm. And this was an interesting take. Somebody asked him, and I've been wondering, because we all assume maybe Patrick Graham, maybe it could be Chip Kelly down the line. Do we have Pete Carroll's successor in the building right now? And he mentioned Brendan Carroll. He said that. Yeah, I mean, it is to be determined, right? Year one in the NFL, being the offensive line, coach. But I thought that was very interesting because Pete may have took this job, 3-year deal, 4-year team option to groom his son to become that next Pete Carroll potentially, later on down the line. What do you think about that? Because Paper Chase, I don't know what that's going to look like, but I do trust the offensive side of the ball because Chip Kelly's there. They're going to be a 1-2 punch there. Chip's going to be somebody he can lean on in year one at the NFL level as, the guy that's going to be running the O-line, running the show. But I want to ask your take on that. I mean, it's kind of to be determined. It's kind of too early to say, but that's an interesting take because they may have a guy in the building that, look, who does Pete love more than anybody? It's going to be his children. He's there. You got him signed. You got him hired. Maybe they do groom this kid to be the guy that later on down the line.
I think that's a lot, right? Just because he's a positional coach now, he has Joe Philbin holding his hand.
Yeah.
And he's Pete Carroll's kid, does not mean that he's going to, get that job. Now, you guys got to understand something. When you start talking about sons of coaches, there's a lot of guys, people talk about the NFL, I hear people talking about it being a meritocracy, and it's not. It is in a sense on the field. The better you play, the more money you'll make, the more opportunities you'll get, right? But when you start talking about coaching, the reason why there is a Rooney Rule is because there's something in coaching that is it's all about who you know, right? So you talk about some of the great coaches in this league, right? Some of the great young coaches in this league. Kyle Shanahan, the son of Mike Shanahan, got jobs strictly because of the fact that he's Mike Shanahan's kid. And he became good, right? Sean McVay, grandfather was one of the architects of the 49er dynasty in the 80s. Several connections that got him where he was going. John Gruden, who's not coaching now, his father was a coach. Had a lot of connections in this league. There's so many guys. Brian Schottenheimer, Marty Schottenheimer's kid. There's so many guys in this league right now that are there, and they got their start because of who their old man was.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's nothing different with Brendan Carroll. But the reason why I don't think that Brendan Carroll is going to be the heir apparent is because it's not like Pete's going to be the coach of the Raiders for the next 10 years. No. Carroll's 73 years old.
Yeah.
Right. So he's not long for the Raiders. And within the next 3 years, I don't think he can do enough for his resume to warrant him getting a head coaching job and skipping the line on a guy like a Chip Kelly.
I agree. I agree with you.
I think this is great for his resume. And I think at the very most, you can expect for him to be a coordinator on one side of the ball if he can make that ascension, being an offensive line coach. But right now, that's one of the big reasons they kept Joe Philbin. Joe Philbin is there just to
a senior advisor to make sure that everything goes right.
He's going to advise him that he's coaching bad. Yeah, right. He's going to show him the way. It's almost like he has like like a mentor there to walk them down the line on how to be a coach on that side of the football.
I think if anything, Brennan Carroll, like you said, potentially down the line, Chip, and this is just what's in the building right now. Chip would be the guy that had the head coaching experience. He'd be the head coach. I think Brennan Carroll would take over the O, and then I think Rob Leonard would take Patrick Graham's spot as the defensive coordinator as Graham finds a head coaching job elsewhere if things work out on the defensive side of the ball. I'm just going off of what's in the building right now. I think that would probably be how it played out. So I could be wrong. It's Wasted freezes up like a stripper. I've never seen – that's some scary shit, Mr. Wasted Talent. Somebody screenshot this right now. Wasted froze up like a stripper. This is scary shit. There you go. Yo, that was some mannequin shit. That was scary, bro.
What the F just happened?
Bro, I thought you were trolling.
What
you said? Wasted in deep contemplation.
I
Bodega said, I just screenshotted it for my next default picture.
Thank you.
And everybody else got it. Space Beast got it. Anthony with the Mark graphic or the graphic Davis haircut. Done. Shake and Bake says some Zoolander shit. Real quick, man. Salute to everybody here in the building. As always, I appreciate you guys so much for pulling up on the latest installment of the Graphk and Wasted or the Wasted and Graphk Show. Real quick, we will be having the St. Jude's Marathon show this week. Tomorrow, you guys, I just got a text message from the guys. I've been asked a lot about this. You guys want to run an AFC West show tomorrow? I got my guy Darcy, Jake, Ben. We're all in the other group chat right now. We can talk about the AFC West as a whole and how we have grade each other's drafts, their off seasons and stuff like that. So I think tomorrow we're going to be doing the AFC West show. So stay tuned. Darcy, me, Ben, Jake. A lot of people have been asking for it. I know Waste is going to have some guests on the show as well. He's doing some solo shows. I also have potentially Sanjit coming on. I talked to him yesterday. We're going to be doing a show. We should put the trio together. I think we need to do a Graphk Wasted and Graphk Sanjit show. Honestly, I think that's what we need to do.
Look, man, we can do that right now.
I know, right? Like real talk.
Right now, look, man, I can do. Hold on.
Yo, real quick before you do that,
I'm not gonna do that.
Okay. We also will have our guys Murph and Swag Jeff on the show sometime this week as well. Talked to my guys yesterday. Salute to my guys over there at the Murph Fan Cave. They put on a great show. They'll be on as well. So as things amp up, we're going to start getting our guys, our buddies on the show and talk about this team and how they've done this offseason. So stay tuned. The AFC West show, the Sanjit show, the Swag Murph and Murph show coming up this week, and then the St. Jude show as well. So I know we've been kind of sparingly doing shows, y'all. I understand, like every 2 days, every 3 days. Once again, we're not the clickbait guys. We're not just going to come on and just do shit just to do shit. And that's no knock to anybody, how they do their content. I'm just being real. If there's nothing to talk about.
Definitely a whack to other people.
It is. But I'm just saying, I don't want to come on here and just talk just to talk. You know what I mean? Pick my toes and shit and bite my nails and just talk just to talk. So, but things are amping up. So we will be definitely doing a lot more. Salute to Space Beast, unexpected content. Salute to my
What's happening right here, Graphk?
I don't know.
What's happening? You said
you're good. You're good. So it's simple.
It's happening.
F. Congratulations, fellas, for doing what you love and being able to support your families doing it. Y'all deserve it. Salute. Salute to my guy, Simple AF. You're good, brother. You're good. Everything's smooth now.
Yeah, nah, just what the hell happened here? I don't know what the F is going on here, Graphk.
Salute to Hug. Pick your toes. Man, everybody picks their damn toes, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Who picks their toes?
I do.
Who does that on air?
Hey, look, you love feet. So let's not act like you don't pick your
Bro, shit. Don't try to put that on me. They got wife.
God.
This guy says wipe. No, the drip god. You spelled that wrong.
Yo, anything else? Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
I think that you are a terrible, terrible person. I think everyone should know this.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Graph's a terrible guy. That's it.
Q, go Pacers.
You know you don't believe that.
Nah, I need the Knicks to win. I can't hear this Tyrese Halliburton wins a championship. I can't do that shit. As a Kings fan, my heart will fall out of my I can't do this shit. Can't do it.
Yeah, man. Look, Tyrese Halliburton, I can't stand F him. Cannot stand that kid.
Yo,
Really can't.
once again, man, salute to everybody here in the building. We will be back with some content either tomorrow, sometime this week. Stay tuned. Love and appreciate you all as Wasted tries to get his internet and Wi-Fi together. Love y'all.
I mean, we're all good. I just wanted to get the new soundboard together. It's not working that great, man.
We gotta work on that behind the scenes, man. You over here fucking up dinner bell and all, man.
Look, man, you shut your mouth. You loved it.
Salute to everybody. As always, wipe them feet on the way out. Pay your bar tabs on the way out. Hit that subscribe button. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We out.
That's what I'm talking about.